Welcome to Inspiration and Transformation from the Banks of the Ganga with Sadhvi Bhagawati Saraswati, an American sannyasi living at the Parmarth Niketan ashram in Rishikesh, India. Sadhvi is president of the Divine Shakti Foundation, a charitable organization bringing education, vocational training, upliftment, and empowerment programs to women and children. Sadhvi is also Secretary General of the Global Interfaith Wash Alliance and Director of the world-famous International Yoga Festival. Join the musings of an American sannyasi as Sadhvi shares the wisdom and teachings of her guru, His Holiness Pujya Swami Chidanand Saraswati Ji.
Welcome everyone to Inspiration and Transformation from the holy banks of the sacred Ganga River in the land of Rishikesh, India. Loneliness is an epidemic, and it's a really important thing to talk about because there's all kinds of scientific research these days now showing that loneliness not only makes you feel miserable, but it actually lowers your immunity. It makes you significantly more likely to get a whole variety of different ailments and illnesses and diseases. We've become lonely for a lot of reasons, mostly community structural reasons. It has to do with the way we work. It has to do with social media. Everybody's gone online. We have started to think that my friends on Facebook can actually take the place of my friends in real life. So slowly, we shift from a physical world to an online world. And by the time we realize how lonely we are, we no longer have connections with friends in a physical world. So I blame our societies. I don't think it's anybody's fault that they are lonely. I think that our societies are now set up in ways that really foster loneliness. There's a lot of movement for jobs. People are constantly being transferred and sent to different cities, different states, even different countries to make money. We've made having a good job and making money such a cultural priority that people are encouraged to leave their family behind and move across the world because they're going to get a better job. But now the question becomes, okay, we can't rewind the world. Here's where we are. What can we do? And the first thing really is just about recognizing in yourself the problem. Because to overcome loneliness, it takes courage. It takes courage to actually put down your phone or iPad or computer and get offline and get into the world. To call someone up who you're not sure what they're going to say. To go sit in a coffee shop and try to meet somebody, to talk to somebody who you don't know. It takes a lot of courage. And especially these days when everybody's like this. You know, at least before mobiles, people were kind of looking around them and you could catch somebody's eye and smile and say, you know, hi, how are you? Now you have to really go out of your way to get someone's attention. So it takes a lot of courage. And that courage develops when we realize we are suffering. So it's wonderful that you ask this because a lot of people don't realize how much they're suffering in loneliness. Because there's so much online we can distract ourselves with. From social media to TV, I mean, whatever you want to watch, there's so much, you know. It used to be that you had to just watch whatever some networks were showing, and then cable came in, and then you had VCRs, and you could rent a movie. And now, wherever you are, if you've just got your phone, on any one of dozens of different streaming sites, you literally could watch anything. Continually, continually, continually. So we've got all of these ways to pretend we are not suffering. So the first step is that awareness, and congratulations for that. Let that breed courage in you to actually reach out to people. First step, reach out to friends you already have. That's going to be the easiest. People you haven't seen in a while. Make a commitment that every day you're going to reach out to someone you haven't been in touch with in a long time, but who you think could be a friend. Maybe they used to be a friend. Maybe they were just an acquaintance, but you think they might be able to be a friend. And every day, it may just be a text message or an email. Hey, haven't seen you in a long time. How are you? But sometimes actually pick up the phone and make a phone call. And just start rebuilding slowly relationships with people you already had. But very quickly with them, start to meet in person. Hey, let's get a cup of coffee. Let's take a walk. Let's have lunch. And then start looking for new friends. Now the question becomes, of course, where to find them. One of the mistakes a lot of people who are looking for a girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife make is they go to places like bars and clubs, but then they say, but I don't want to date somebody who would go to a bar or a club. And you think, well, if you go to a bar to meet somebody, but you don't want to date somebody who goes to bars, obviously the type of people you're going to meet in a bar are the type of people who go to bars. So you have to go places that are the places where you would want your friend to be interested. So for example, if you like yoga, go to a yoga class. Stop taking it on Zoom. Go to an actual class. Meet other people who take yoga. If you are interested in literature or books, join a book club offline. Maybe it meets once a week. Maybe it meets once a month. Meet people. If you're interested in sports, join a sports team. Not just going to watch a game where you are one of 10 billion people in the bleachers, but actually start to play in person. Whatever it may be that you are interested in, start actually doing it. And then find that courage to say to other people who are there, hey, would you like to go get, a coffee afterwards? Would you like to go get lunch afterwards? And slowly, slowly, you'll start to find that you have friends. And the truth is, you don't need 100 friends. You don't even need 10 friends. If you've got just a couple of good friends, and then a slightly larger group of, kind of acquaintances, nice to see every once in a while, you're good. Focus on quality, not quantity. Everything in life that matters, that's valuable, takes time. Developing friendships takes time. It takes being proactive. It's very easy to be too busy, but you go out of your way. And the rewards are really great. Wonderful. And also, by the way, another really easy thing is be a friend to somebody else. In your workplace, in your neighborhood, do you see someone who looks like they could use a friend? Reach out to them. Sometimes it just takes the step of being the good friend, and you'll develop these relationships. And remember, of course, at the core and the center is God. And so, no matter how lonely you may feel, remember, God is always there. It's why the sages and the saints and the rishis and the yogis sitting alone in silence in caves never felt lonely. You never hear one of them saying, oh my God, this is awful. It's always ecstasy, because they're one with God. It's a beautiful line in the prayers we chant every morning here that says, Tu akale nahi pyare, Ram tere saath mein. Remember, you're never alone. God is always with you. So don't despair. God is always there. And reach out and connect.
Conscious media for conscious minds. Om Times. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of Om Times Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of Om Times. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Hello, I'm Sandy Sedgbeer, host of Om Times Magazine's flagship radio show, What is Going Om. My passion is sifting through information, research and innovations from new thought teachers, speakers and researchers pushing back the boundaries of what we know about life, energy, metaphysics and the universe. I love shifting perceptions about who we are, why we're here, and how quickly impossible becomes normal when we open our minds, expand our awareness, and accept that the only limits that exist are those we place upon ourselves. So if you're the kind of forward-thinking, eager investigator of what lies beyond the current reality that most perceive, why not make a date to come play with me in the field of possibilities at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time every Thursday, and together we can discover what's really going on.
If I could be you,
and you could be me,
for just 1 hour.
If you could find a way
to get inside
each other's mind,
walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out, and for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Welcome back to Inspiration and Transformation. I'm so glad to have you all back here with me. How do we motivate others to choose the greater good? Environmentalism, fair trade, organics, vegetarianism, etc., when they just don't care. So you can't make somebody care, sadly. As anyone who's ever tried to make someone love them knows, you can do everything, but you can't actually make someone else deeply care. However, a lot of the things that were mentioned here, environmentalism, fair trade, organics, vegetarianism, these are things where they may not care about the thing you care about, but probably there's something they do care about. For example, in the Hindu tradition, the cow is considered holy. And so for time immemorial, Hindus have worshipped the cow, loved the cow, and therefore don't eat the cow. Don't eat other animals as well, out of a feeling and an awareness that all species are our sisters and brothers. We believe Vasudev Kutumbakam, the world is a family. So whether it's people of different colors or races or religions, or whether it's different species, different animals, we believe they are our sisters and brothers. Now, a lot of times what we get is parents who will come and they'll say, "Can you please talk to my child?" Or somebody will bring in a friend who's not Hindu and say, "Can you please talk to him or her and explain why they should be vegetarian?" And the child or the other person says very honestly and openly, "I don't see the cow as holy. Sweet animal, but I don't actually see it as a holy animal. I don't actually see animals as our sisters and brothers. My scriptures tell us that God gave us dominion over the planet. So why, therefore, should I not eat what I want to eat? And here's what's really beautiful. Whether you look at vegetarianism, environmentalism, issues of fair trade, all of these doing the right things that the questioner asked, there's so many reasons that if they don't care about one, you've got others. So for example, if people don't think the cow is holy, or that animals are our sisters and brothers, that's okay. Do they care about starving children? I mean, almost everybody cares about starving children. It's hard not to care about that. Do they care about children who are literally dying of starvation every day? It's hard not to care about that. Do they care about our planet running out of water? Again, it's hard not to care about that. And yet our food choices, especially animal agriculture, play a huge role, a huge causational role in world hunger, in environmental destruction, in water shortages. So if they don't think the cow is holy, they don't care about the cow, that's okay. As long as they care about starving children. Or as long as they care about the planet running out of water. Similarly, you look at fair trade, for example. Well, fair trade means everything ranging from how the crops are raised to how things are manufactured. Okay, some people may not necessarily care about pesticides or fertilizers or chemicals in the plants. A lot of people think, if it were really that harmful, our government would protect us. If it was really that harmful, it wouldn't be allowed to be sold. Right? A lot of us have this beautiful but illusory idea that somehow if something were really harmful, neither our governments, nor the corporations, nor the supermarkets would actually enable us to buy it. So they don't believe in that. Okay, no problem. What about women and kids working in sweatshops? Do they care about that? Again, hard not to care. Hard not to care about child labor. Hard not to care about women in bonded labor in sweatshops so that we can buy more, cheaper. So exercise your creativity. It may be some extra research that you have to do. Find something they care about. Everybody cares about something. Even if it's just themselves. Well, God, I mean, think about your own karma, right? I mean, even if they don't care about women and children in sweatshops, do they care about their own karma? Do they care about the karmic repercussions of benefiting from violence, of benefiting from oppression? You can always find something that everyone cares about. And so rather than going into these kinds of discussions with, this is the angle I think from, and if you don't think like that, there's a problem with you. Instead of that, think about, is there another angle? Might there be another way to have this conversation? Everybody. I mean, everybody really worthy of being friends with or married to cares about something. I mean, if they don't care about anything in the world, then you've got to ask yourself, what exactly am I doing here in this relationship? I mean, if someone doesn't have the capacity to care about anyone or anything, then ask yourself, why are you beating your head against the wall anyway? Maybe it's just that person's karmic journey to live in that way this lifetime. Okay, it's all right. The universe is infinitely patient. They'll get another lifetime to develop compassion and clarity and discrimination and truthfulness and love, and it's okay. But why are you stuck in that then? So if they do care about anything, find the thing they care about and go in that way. And if they really don't care, then just surrender to their own karmic journey, their own karmic package. It's okay. There are people in this world who just are like that. And we just have to bow to their karmic experience and the perfection of the law of karma. But you do have to ask yourself what you're doing in the relationship and whether it makes sense for you to be there, someone who cares so deeply.
The Real Conscious Connection. Om Times Radio. IOM FM. Om Times Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Om Times, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
More than 24 million Americans have an autoimmune disorder, and that number continues to grow. I'm Sharon Saylor, and I'm one of those 24 million. To put that number in perspective, cancer affects about 9 million and heart disease up to 22 million. That's why I've brought together top experts and those thriving regardless of their diagnosis to bring you the latest, most up-to-date information. Join me, Sharon Saylor, Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, for the Autoimmune Hour on Life Interrupted Radio to find out how to live your life uninterrupted.
You came across someone struggling with hunger. How would you recognize them? Would you notice an 8-year-old girl who's not excited for
summer break because she may not be having lunch again until September?
Or a war veteran who's having a hard time landing a job and getting back on his feet? I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org, brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Welcome back. This is Sadhvi Bhagawati Saraswati with inspiration and transformation. Here's the beautiful thing. God is infinite. God is everything. We believe that there is nothing in the universe not pervaded by God. So do you love anyone? Do you love anything? If you can't love God in a specific form or in no form, it's okay. A lot of times people feel really badly about that. You know, I pray to Krishna, or I pray to Ram, or I pray to Jesus Christ, or I pray whatever our religion may be. But I can't really develop that bhakti, that love for them in my heart. And then when I try to pray to God with no name, no form, just this infinite supreme reality, I mean, it's hard to develop love for that. It's easy to feel in awe, but it's hard to love something so intangible as infinite supreme reality, right? I mean, how do you even get that going? And that's okay. Because the core essence of everyone and everything is God. So as long as you can love someone, not for their body, not for what they say or do, not for how they behave, not for what they do for you, not for all of the temporal stuff, the stuff that changes, the aspects of the physical body. But if you really love the essence of that being, what we would call the soul, the spirit of that being, You're loving God. And so focus on it in that way. Begin by choosing the person it's easiest to love. The one from whom you have the least expectations of they should act like this, talk like that, treat me like this. The one where it's just the easiest to love. And then really focus on loving their essence. But when you do that, do it with awareness that what you're loving is God. So when you look in their eyes, be aware, be consciously aware in your own mind that what you are looking at and to and for is the divine in them. So it's not I'm looking at you and, do you really love me? Do you really love me? Do you really think I'm beautiful? But it's, I'm looking for that divine in you. And what that'll do, it'll make your relationships much deeper and more powerful. It'll make you much less likely to get all upset about random, stupid nonsense. And B, it'll start to give you an experience of the divine and then start to expand it out. Can you love a tree? Can you hug a tree and feel the presence of the divine? And just start to look for opportunities in people, in nature, in a sunset. You know, if you've got kids or nephews or nieces or just children you love, and they draw you pictures. Now, when they're young, these pictures are nothing. I mean, they're scribbles. But what do? We put them up on the fridge, we frame them, we love them. Why? Because we love the artist. Anybody else would say, why in the world do you have these, purple scribbles on an orange piece of construction paper up on your fridge? Like, that is just not art. But you love the creator of those orange scribbles or purple scribbles on orange construction paper so much that when you look at it, what you see is the one you love. And so you love to look at it. And you're going to frame it, you're going to put it where you see it every day. In the same way, as you look at the creation, look at sunrises, look at sunsets, look at the stars in the sky. This is the artwork of the Creator. So if you already love the Creator, it's easy to love the creation. You love the kids, so you love the drawings. But you can also go the other way. Through loving the art, you can start to love the artist. Wow, just look at a sunrise. When you go out of here, go look at the full moon. Coming in from Aarti, how could you not feel love for the being, the energy, who has gifted us with such beauty? Don't get caught up in what form of God am I loving? What does this mean? It's okay. Just allow the experience of love. You see the moon, you see the sunset, you see a beautiful mountain range, you see the flowing river. As you look at creation, allow yourself to love that. And just notice that slowly, 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 love starts to blossom for the one who created that. It's like you go to a restaurant, you have an exquisite meal, and people say, oh, could I meet the chef for a moment? Like, could you just bring the chef out here? Because that was the best meal I've ever had. And there's just an inner instinct to want to get to know the one who has gifted you with something that you've enjoyed so much. So allow yourself to just start to love the creation, the expression of the Creator, and it'll take you back to God.
The future of Internet radio is here. Om Times Radio. IOM FM.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free. AscendingHearts.com.
This is Kathy Beal, host of Celestial Compass, featuring astrology you can use. Celestial Compass points you to what's going on in the sky and what you can do with it down here on Earth. We also explore fun, effective, and cosmic tools for navigating this adventure we call life. Join me the first and third Monday of the month at 5 p.m. Eastern Time for Celestial Compass. It's enlightening, entertaining, and empowering.
Every 2 minutes, an American is sexually assaulted. The majority of victims know their attacker. It could be your friend, your neighbor, or someone you met at a party. If you said no, it's rape, and it's a crime. This is Christina Ricci with RAIN. Call the National Sexual Assault Hotline today at 1-800-656-HOPE or visit rain.org. That's RAINN.org.
Brought to you by RAIN and this station.
Welcome back. This is Sadhvi Bhagawati Saraswati with inspiration and transformation. How do we start the journey to find our Dharma? We become very quiet and we listen. It's not something that's going to come to us from outer space. It's not something that's going to come to us in an equation that we find somewhere online. It's something that's going to come to us from inside. The dilemma is that most of us do take those cues from outside, which is why we're so confused. We spend most of our lives creating our goals, our purposes, our identities, based on cues from the outside. People say things to you like, "You are so smart." We feel like, I'm the smart one. Or they say, "You are so beautiful. Your brother's the smart one. You're the pretty one." And we develop identities around that. We don't pass it off as just judgment of some random person. We actually internalize it and start to identify based on that. We watch TV, we follow people on social media. We see that which is projected as good, that which is projected as to be appreciated. Somebody posts something about their purpose as X, Y, or Z, and it gets, 1 million likes, and we think, all right, so that's the right purpose to have. Look what it's done for that person. Okay, that's my purpose. And we may not do it as consciously, but it starts to build in us subconsciously, things that have nothing to do with my own Dharma. It's the, lion in the pack of sheep syndrome. I look around me and what I see are sheep, therefore I assume I am a sheep regardless of what I really am. But in our case, it's even more difficult because not only are we looking at what others are, but we're looking at what we're told we should be, what our culture, what our society says is a good purpose to have, something that makes you a lot of money, something that gives you a lot of prestige and fame and power and, vacations on exotic private islands. And this is what's projected across all forms of media that we see as the right path. But ultimately, our own Dharma is going to come to us from inside. And all of that focus outside just confuses us. It makes us think we are or should be something else. It's like an orange tree growing in an apple orchard that, grows and thinks it should be giving apples and feels very frustrated that it can't give apples. And that's how so many of us are living. So the way to discover your own Dharma is to become really quiet and to try to tease apart in your own mind an internal voice compared to the voices that come from culture, from society, from people you heard growing up, who told you different things about yourself that you've internalized. You tease them apart from the voice of fear, the voice of desire. And slowly, slowly, an internal sense starts to speak to you. And it may not give you a full picture. It's not necessarily going to say, news flash. Here is your Dharma. It may be simply a signal that says, go to this place. Meet that person. Start to learn this. Read that book. Go on a trip there. And it may not even be something that you necessarily realize is connected to your search for Dharma. But the minute you become quiet and start listening, that inner voice starts speaking more clearly. It's always there. It's just that we usually don't hear it, we don't pay attention to it. And so like anyone who keeps trying to tell us something that we don't listen to eventually kind of quiets down, so does that inner voice. But the minute you start really paying attention, you'll notice that you can hear it more clearly and that it speaks to you more frequently. And so just start to pay attention and start to listen to it, even if it's something that doesn't make sense. You're in a bookstore and it guides you to a section that you normally wouldn't go to, or it directs you to pick up something that normally isn't the type of book you would. Or it suddenly tells you to go to this place, or to meet that person, or to learn this, or to stop doing this, or to stop doing that, or not to go there. Just start listening to it. See what happens. See how in alignment you start to feel as you listen to it. For the vast majority of us, overwhelming majority of people, number one, we do not have only one Dharma in life. We have many Dharmas simultaneously. We have many Dharmas that happen sequentially in our lives at different points of our lives. And for the vast majority of us, it doesn't come to us all at once in a news flash. It builds and it shifts. I mean, for me on a personal level, when I first came here, now, I didn't come to India thinking I was going to stay. I didn't come to India thinking I was seeking or searching at all. In fact, on the plane here from California, I had this moment of, what am I doing? Like, why am I going? This makes no sense. I was already on the plane and I had no idea why I was going. And then after I came to Rishikesh and I had this incredible experience that made me know I was meant to stay here, I didn't know why. And in the beginning, it was just about, I spent years and years doing seva, service, in a way where I would go to Puja Swamiji. He would hand me, he'd open a file. The file would have a stack of papers in it. And he would essentially throw papers at me one by one, telling me what to do with each of them. Write this person that, answer this in that way, take this and take care of it in this way, whatever it was. And I would take the file and I would go. And when the file was empty, I got to go back and hand it back to him and get a new one. And so it obviously inspired me to work really hard and really fast so that I could keep having an excuse to have to go back and sit with him again and say, file's empty, everything's done. It was correspondence, responses to invitations. Slowly, it started being about projects that we were starting, schools and things like that. Projects started getting bigger. But it still was just whatever needed to be done. Oh, there's a tsunami in South India. We went down for 2 days. We brought 5 of our Rishi Kumars down there, thinking we were just going to do prayers for the departed souls. We ended up staying back for 3 weeks in the first run and essentially being there back and forth for 2 years. Rebuilding villages. Building schools and women's centers and orphanages. The whole, had no idea. It's what the moment presented. Slowly, one day, we're sitting in darshan satsang. Somebody asks a question, he turns to me and makes me answer it. No warning. No, hey, by the way, news flash, your Dharma is shifting. In the moment. Somebody asks a question, he says, Sadhviji. And I, of course, think it's Sadhviji, like Sadhviji. Go and get them the book that has a whole chapter on the question that they've just asked. Go bring them all copies of my book in which I've answered this. Or Sadhviji, go and tell the kitchen that after Satsang, these people are all going to stay back for dinner. And so I'm waiting for the rest of the instruction. And he doesn't speak, and I turn and he's like, and it took me a moment before I realized it was Sadhviji period, not Sadhviji comma. And it was, you're going to answer this question. I had been here maybe 10-ish years, 11-ish years, something like that. I don't remember exactly when that happened. It was kind of mid to late 2000s. Slowly. And it for me has been just about saying yes to the moment. Oh, this is what the moment wants of me. Oh, okay. And just a prayer constantly being, show me. Show me what you want from me in every moment. You know I have no idea. But I'm here and I'm available. You know what's in my toolbox because you gave it to me. Use me in whatever way. Flow through me. So don't expect it to land in your lap. There was never a moment in my life in which I had this news flash of, oh, Dharma is, go to India. take vows of monastic renunciation, become a spiritual teacher. It never happened like that. It's been baby step by baby step by baby step of literally just showing up in each moment and simply noticing that sometimes the moment starts to want something different of you than what it had wanted before. And you just show up to that. Okay. The moments used to want that from me. It used to be go and get the books or tell the kitchen. Now it's give the teaching. Okay. I'll show up to that. Staying open. Not second guessing yourself. Not saying, oh my God, no, that can't possibly be it. And being open to the risk. Because a lot of times when that shift happens and we get an intuition that the moment wants something of us, a lot of us say, oh my God, no, you must mean the person next to me. You can't really mean me. And just realizing, yeah, this was a call for you. Show up to the moment. And then you'll start to see what the moment wants. And even in this moment, there's still a lot of different dharmas. One of them is this which I do, which I know is my dharma. I have a mother here who I brought back from America about 1.5 years ago. And I have a dharma as a daughter to figure out how to take care of her. It unfolded in such a way of bringing her here. And I have a dharma as a daughter to my father now who's alone in LA. And a dharma to that. So it's not that one of them somehow supersedes the others. I always say it's a dance. Or it's sometimes you're dancing in this direction and you're dancing here, and sometimes it's a twirl, and sometimes it's a slow dance, and sometimes it's a fast dance, and sometimes it's a partner dance, and sometimes it's a solo dance. Or you could think about it as a tapestry and threads that are weaving together. But just be still and quiet. And I don't mean still outside, still inside. On the outside, you keep putting one foot in front of the other, doing whatever to the best of your ability you think this moment wants of you. It's not sit on the couch and eat potato chips and wait for your dharma to fall in your lap. You put one foot in front of each other to the best of your ability in every moment, staying open and receptive and humble and courageous and available. And try to continually unhook your mind from the messages that you're getting on TV, on social media, by the culture, so that you can keep hearing the voice from within.
The future of internet radio is here. Om Times Radio, IOM FM.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free. ascendinghearts.com.
This is Kathy Beal, host of Celestial Compass, featuring astrology you can use. Celestial Compass points you to what's going on in the sky and what you can do with it down here on Earth. We also explore fun, effective, and cosmic tools for navigating this adventure we call life. Join me the first and third Monday of the month at 5 p.m. Eastern Time for Celestial Compass. It's enlightening, entertaining, and empowering.
Every 2 minutes, an American is sexually assaulted. The majority of victims know their attacker. It could be your friend, your neighbor, or someone you met at a party. If you said no, it's rape, and it's a crime. This is Christina Ricci with RAIN. Call the National Sexual Assault Hotline today at 1-800-656-HOPE or visit rain.org. That's RAINN.org.
Brought to you by RAIN and this station.
Welcome back. This is Sadhvi Bhagawati Saraswati with inspiration and transformation. The universe gives us what we need. If we're open to it, if we trust that sense of intuition. In a bookstore, what to read, not necessarily what everybody I know is reading, but what is it that speaks to me? And then as you read or as you listen to something or as you watch something, to allow it to see, is this meant for me in some way? Or is this just mindless entertainment and distraction? And to be able to distinguish and to discriminate between that which is actually meant for me and that which is mindless. And then to stay open. You know, I always believe very deeply that the universe sends us exactly what we need when we need it. And of course, that's not just my belief. I mean, this is what our sages and saints and rishis have always told us. Whatever we need is there. Albert Einstein said there's only two ways to live. Believing that either everything is a miracle or nothing is a miracle. And I definitely fall in the everything is a miracle camp. And to realize that whatever you're being sent is in your life for a reason. And so it doesn't surprise me at all that in reading my book, it came into your hands at that time, at the time that was right for you. And so it doesn't surprise me at all that in reading it you find yourself then drawn here. That's why we read. I mean, we've gotten into such a habit of just distraction and entertainment that we actually forget the reason that art and music and literature was created. It wasn't created to just distract us and give us something to do at the end of the day when we're tired and have a headache. The arts and culture were always a huge part of society, seen as a very critical part of society because they touch us on a very deep level. They open us up to realms of experience that we otherwise never would have. They're meant to touch us. It's why throughout most of history, up until really recently, artists, poets, musicians actually had patrons, like well-to-do people in society, would financially support the musician, the painter, the poet, so that that person could just dive into their art because their art was seen as providing great benefit to the society. It's only been, in the last 100 years or so that it's shifted much more into just entertainment and distraction, and so it's gone from being something that was an offering to touch people, to open people, to broaden their experiences, their minds, their hearts, into something that's just about shock value and, violence and sex and whatever it is that's going to make money or distract us or entertain us. So to choose books, to choose music, to choose film that's going to touch you and enrich you and open you is very beautiful. And then to allow yourself to be touched and opened and enriched is the whole point. So I'm very glad that you've been touched by it. I always say that even though the physical journey of Hollywood to the Himalayas was the journey that my physical body took, that ultimately the reason I wrote the book and the whole point is that that journey in the mind and the heart from the Hollywood way of thinking and identifying to the Himalayan way of thinking and identifying is the shift that brings about an end to suffering. And that's a shift that's for everybody, regardless of where your body is. So I'm very, very touched and very glad to hear that. And it's not surprising to me at all because the universe has a plan. There was a plan in making me spend all of the time it took to write it. There was a plan in getting it into your hands. So, welcome. This brings to a close this hour of inspiration and transformation. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad to be together with you all each week. And I look forward to being together again next Thursday, same time on Om Times Radio.